Let's bring in my panel. Sky News contributor Kosha Gada, former Labor MP Michael Danby. I'll come back to that in a moment, Kosha, but I really want to get your take on this big US Supreme Court win for Donald Trump.
Great to be with you, Peta. Pretty monumental ruling, certainly legally, because it was a 9-0 unanimous majority decision, which doesn't happen very often. I checked in the last decade, that's happened only about 30% of the time in terms of all cases that come across the Supreme Court's desk. So that has big implications not only legally, but politically, because it really claps back on any narratives that were out there about why Trump should be disqualified as a candidate, given that even the 3 liberal justices ruled in this way. The reason for it ultimately comes down to the idea that no state can unilaterally decide for the whole nation. And there is a pathway for disqualifying people seeking federal office, which requires Congress passing a statute, a federal prosecutor calling a grand jury that indicts that person, getting a unanimous jury conviction, and then a judgment held by a federal judge upheld on appeal. None of that happened, and so this, I think, was certainly a boost for the Trump campaign, but more importantly for the country, because it's restoring rule of law and constitutional clarity.
Michael Danby, George Galloway in the UK, I mean, he's an ex-Labor MP, ex-Labor member. I mean, there's a real cancer on the left, an anti-Semitic cancer, we talk about that, but a pro-Islamist, not pro-Muslim, but pro-Islamist cancer. We're seeing it play out more and more across Britain, and the concern here in the Labor Party, particularly in the branches in New South Wales, it's arrived in Australia.
George is a loudmouth grifter. They call them wide boys in the UK, loud and shallow. He's on Russia Today and the Iran's press TV. He's doing what you'd expect of a person with those views. But his role is to, before the British election, is to hive off the Muslim vote in those depressed parts of Britain that you were talking about before, and force the Labor Party. He's targeting Angela Rayner, who's the deputy leader in one seat, targeting them so they'll adopt far-left positions on Iran, on Hezbollah and Hamas. Peter, he is a hypocrite. He supports Putin in Russia. So the children killed in Odessa yesterday by Iranian Shahad drones are okay by George, but it's useful to attack the Labor Party and to have his own vengeance on the political system in the UK by mobilising Muslim votes over Gaza in all those depressed parts of Britain.
All right, Kosha, Super Tuesday, what are we looking for?
Well, I think in the wake of that Supreme Court ruling, which confirms obviously Trump will be on the ballot in the general election, now people can turn their eye to how he's going to perform on that ballot. And I think Super Tuesday, no surprise, he's going to dominate Nikki Haley, who's remaining there. On the Democrat side, it's interesting as well how much leakage Biden might see, or third-party candidates like RFK Junior or Cornel West, where they are appearing on ballots. You know, what's going to happen with them might actually be an important story, even if not shifting the overall dynamic. But I don't think we're going to see any major surprises.
Just quickly, Michael, it's called Super Tuesday because it's 15 states all in one day. But any insights you can give us?
I don't think Nikki Haley, unfortunately, has a chance, but I'm glad she's staying in the race to give an alternative to President Trump. I think President Biden's continuing open border is the thing that mainly goes in favour of Trump, and that's why I think he'll win the nomination and ultimately win the election.
All right, we'll leave it there. Stay safe, Michael Danby there.